So what we have done for this research is to follow ethics professionals. We realized that they were all working inside multinational corporations, and we decided to follow them into their everyday jobs. So we worked with them, we actually made interviews with them, but we also attend a few meetings and brainstorming sessions inside their corporation. It was very interesting because we were able in this sense to actually see how the tools were developed. We have different sources of information from our observation, but also interviews that we were doing. But we were also able to follow the different stages of the ethical tools, which was very rich information for us because we could actually see the process of the ethical tools design. So we were able to see where the ideas were coming from and how it was actually turned into a tool that would be actually later implemented inside the corporation.
Usually we don't go straight to the field asking questions to people. We first look at what has been said before in the literature, and obviously there is already a literature looking at how legal framework or laws are influencing behavior within organization. And what we know from this literature is actually the legalization or the development of a new law is never changing or transforming organizations straightforwardly. Usually law against a received view tend to create a lot of ambiguity for organizational actors simply because they do not know how to implement the law, what to do with it. So you need different people to interpret the legal framework, and you need them to be able to turn it into standards or procedure within organization.
What we have realized with our study is that in all corporations there were this ethical committee made of legal professionals. So you have risk management people, internal control, legal people. And this ethical committee is very important in the stage of development of ethical tools because when you have an idea as an ethical professional, you have an idea and you want to create it a tool and then you want to implement it inside the corporation. To do that, you have to make a proposition to the ethical committee that has to validate or not your idea. The problem is, as this committee is full of legal and judicial risk management people, they have a certain approach of ethics and they will not validate all the tools. They will only validate the tools that goes with their approach of business ethics and how should be ethics inside their corporation.
When engaging with those professionals and seeing those tools that end up not really delivering what they're supposed to deliver, you really start thinking about how could we have organized things differently so that these ethical tools could be more useful and really deliver their purpose. And here what we think, based on this process model when we describe the development of the tools, is first that maybe corporations tend to give too much prominence in their design of bureaucratic context around ethical tools to legal person trained in a legal background and compliance officer. We also think that corporations should try to spend more time not necessarily thinking about the standards and operationalization of tools, but a little bit more about creating space or room within the organization where ethical or unethical issue could be voiced, could be discussed between people without rushing first toward a legal or judicial approach to ethical tools development.
So the impact of this research is quite important. While other research has been focused on ethical tools that were not working and highlighting how they were dysfunctional, in this study we have actually some insight of why they are dysfunctional by looking at the process development of those ethical tools inside corporation. And I think that nowadays, with the situation that we have with a lot of ethical scandal and corporate misconduct, we can actually do better. We can actually understand where the problem is coming from and try to go above. Yes, legal issue is important. Yes, legal is often considered as a minimum standard that companies should have for ethical behavior, but I think that we can go above that and develop other kinds of tools.